Last time on the results-driven fitness show.
Another benefit to that change by doing the demonstration before the warm-up. Bullshit alert!
One thing that I enjoy about being fit is I feel so much better every day.
The results-driven fitness show.
The thing I like about being fit is that I'm much more coordinated than I ever was.
I don't know about that.
So how do you choose which type of training you should prioritize?
Get our strong out. And we're gonna get some protein, brother.
We can actually expect to improve movement over time.
That's what we like about being fit.
What is up, internet friends? It is the results-driven fitness show.
It's that fitness show.
And today, we have just gone to the grocery store. We've brought back the goodies.
Brought it back.
From the supermarket.
Yay.
We got protein.
Got that protein.
And some vegetables.
Veggies up in it.
We're gonna tell you which ones to prioritize.
Eat that.
And then, we're gonna talk about 2 things you can do.
2!
To make surging even easier.
What up, Surge Dog?
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are in week 2 of the Super U program here at Results Driven. Each month we're going to have a theme for our show that reflects what's happening here at the gym and what we think is happening in the fitness industry at large. For us, February means surging, and that means members are crushing it with the Super U program, adding a little bit of extra exercise into their plan and also doubling down on their nutrition.
For those of you that are new to the show, when we talk about surging, what we mean is putting all of our available energy into making a decent amount of progress towards a goal. The issue in the majority of the fitness industry is some of the more popular commercial products influence people to get super restrictive or follow just very strong guidelines as to what to do during that time period. So it could be a specific, very strict diet you're following, or a month-long time period where you're cutting most things out of your meal plan. We don't like to do that because it doesn't set people up for long-term success. That's why we use the precision nutrition system. It's habit-based as opposed to set very strict rules.
Now, if you go back in our playlists, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, in episode 3, we highlighted our prerequisite habit and we highlighted our first habit through the precision nutrition system. If you go back to episode 7, we talked about making the perfect shake and how that can knock off 2 or 3 habits through the precision nutrition system. Eating every 2 to 4 hours, having protein with every meal, and having a vegetable with every meal.
The reason we prefer a habits-based approach is because it works when you're trying to be in a little bit more of a maintenance phase or maybe slow, steady progress, and it works just as well when you're trying to surge. The only real difference is how much time and energy you're putting into checking off each habit.
Using the precision nutrition habit-based system, members are encouraged to track their food. That's the only way that you know that you're really locking down on a habit. So when you think that you are eating every 2 to 4 hours, 7 days a week, we ask the person to start looking at their food journal and evaluating, is that really happening? And then we're able to take the next step and look at habit 2, which is having protein with every meal. And that's why we went to the grocery store to tell you what proteins you should be highlighting.
Like we just mentioned, we took a trip to the grocery store. Coach Jenner was nice enough to go and pick up all of this. We have a few different types of protein sources. We have a variety of different types of vegetables, and we also have a few types of carbohydrates. We're gonna go deeper into the protein today. In the next 2 episodes, we're gonna go through the vegetables as well as the carbs. So let's check it out. So let's organize these different types of protein. We have our 100% organic ground beef, 85% lean, 15% fat. The ground turkey, 93% lean, 7% fat. Our certified organic chicken. And then the pork tenderloin. I don't know why I did that. Organic Norwegian Atlantic salmon. 2 different types of eggs. We have your ShopRite and we have your Freak Show eggs. Organic Valley, extra organic, fancy, crunchy stuff. Then we have your Yoplait Greek yogurt, Chobani, and we're gonna put this sad little character over here, the black beans. All of these are protein sources. We're gonna break down kind of the difference with each one, a basic understanding of like from higher to lower levels of fat and how you can start to combine different types of protein with other meals. So your organic ground beef is the highest in fat in this column. Then we have your the lean ground turkey, your chicken and your pork tenderloin are about the same on the lower end. The salmon is higher in fat. So if we take our ground beef and the salmon and understand that if you're gonna have these in a meal, we wouldn't generally recommend adding another fat source. If you take some of the middle of the road proteins in terms of fat, you may wanna add a fat source, but just be aware of how much. Most women should start off by having 7 to 12 grams of fat in a meal. Most men, 15 to 25. Understand that I said start, so it's just a place for you to use as a baseline. You may go higher, you may go lower. But if we use that just for the sake of this conversation, if we're having the protein sources with higher fat, like your beef or your salmon, we're gonna recommend not adding any extra fat to that meal. If we're having one of the middle of the road ones like your ground turkey, just make sure you fall within that range that I just mentioned. So maybe you're gonna have maybe a half a serving of extra fat. And then your chicken and your pork tenderloin, you're gonna be able to have more. We just recommend that people literally use the Google and look up the food that they're gonna be eating. So we could sit here and tell you the macros of everything, but the more involved in your own process that you are, the more likely this is gonna be sustainable as you start to add these habits into your life. So we went over more of your typical protein sources that people think about. 2 other common ones are eggs and yogurt. So in terms of your eggs, once again, if we're having, the cool thing about eggs is it's like the Build-A-Bear of protein. You can have the whole egg with the yolk. You can actually separate the yolk. So you can decide how much fat you want to have in the meal. We do recommend having the yolk because there's a lot of good nutritional content. But if you wanted to, for example, have avocado with it, then maybe you just have 1 yolk and then the rest egg whites. With the yogurt, I don't like dairy, so I don't even want to talk about it. With the yogurt, both of these are fat-free, but you do want to be mindful of the amount of carbs. With the non-fat yogurt and the black beans, we want to make sure that even though we're not worried about fat content, that we understand the amount of carbohydrates in the meal. Hopefully going through the different types of proteins so you can understand the fat content and the carb content of certain proteins, hopefully that just gives you a little clarity. Another thing that we want to understand is just how much protein you should be eating. I mentioned the starting point for fat a little bit earlier. With protein, for most women, we're going to be in the 20 to 30 grams per meal, and most men 40 to 60 grams per meal. With these guidelines, we're recommending this for people that are actively doing resistance training. And we also want to make sure you understand that all of this is a starting point. You may find out that you need to drop the protein or add it, but if you have a place to start from, then you can actually have something to track and you can talk to a coach to make some progress. The moral of this story with everything is just understand the macros of your food and understand what you're trying to put into each meal. Hopefully seeing the different types of protein, understanding a little bit more about the different macros and how to read the nutrition label, hopefully that clarified some things for you. Let's get back to the rest of the episode.
So we just showed you a bunch of different protein options that you can consider when you are trying to eat protein with every meal. But why is it important to have protein with every meal?
Protein breaks down in the body into amino acids, and they actually serve as the building blocks for muscle and the cells in your body.
When your goal is to be a healthy individual, we want to make sure that you are maintaining the amount of muscle that you have, if not increasing the amount of muscle that you have. And that's why ingesting protein is really important.
During resistance training and in the period after, you're actually going to have the rate of muscle breakdown exceed the rate of muscle building. One way to offset that is to make sure that you have enough protein in the time period before your workout and in your post-workout meal.
Now, when it comes to nutrition habits, a lot of people might be thinking diets. Diets get a bad rap, and for good reason. A lot of people think diets means eating rabbit food. Right? And that they're always going to be starving. One of the issues that they may be having is actually not having enough protein with their meals.
So unless you're really about that cage life, we recommend that you use protein to help keep you full longer. It's going to be one of the nutrients that helps delay gastric emptying. So you're literally going to have your stomach full for a longer period of time.
When you're starting to address this habit, just find the proteins that work for you. Once you have locked it down and you're really crushing it, you look back at your food journal. Remember we talked about that? You look back at your food journal, you're seeing you're eating protein with every meal. Then start to think about having a wide variety. So go back to that part in the video where we laid out the different recommendations that we have. And just make sure that over the weeks and months, you're getting different kinds to make sure you're getting different minerals and nutrients.
Hopefully you're noticing a trend here. We want to help educate you on one of our habits. Once you understand that habit, we want you to go out and try it. Once you've locked down that nutrition habit, then the goal is to learn about the next one and start to practice that. Our hope is that you don't stop with eating protein with every meal. A higher protein diet can actually raise the pH of your blood. So if you don't know as much about how the human body works, there's a certain acid-base balance that we need in the blood. When you eat a higher protein diet, it's going to raise the blood acid. The cool thing about the human body is it has natural mechanisms that are going to help regulate this regardless. Okay, so why the hell am I going to eat vegetables then? Eating vegetables are a way to have your nutritional intake actually help offset the high acid level of a higher protein diet, and it's going to do it at a much lower cost. So if our goal is to be healthy, we want to be in the right state with the least amount of extra work for the body so we can offset inflammation and just make you a more amazing human being.
Now, in the next episode, we're going to go over what vegetables you should prioritize. But for right now, how can we start to stack the odds in your favor? We already worked on the first nutrition habit, so we're eating every 2 to 4 hours. Then we're going to eat protein with every meal. So how can we help the body be in a more balanced state without having vegetables with every meal because you're just learning that habit? So in the last nutrition meeting, Ed went over 2 pointers for our members to help do that.
Little things that you could start to do. That I say little things, but they might be really hard for some people. Get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day. Raise your hand if you think I'm batshit crazy for saying that. That's why I made sure to say these are simple things, or little things we can call them, but they're not easy things. The concept of getting sleep, you don't have to wrap your head around that. I get it, I should sleep, right? I highly recommend if somebody doesn't get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, that they consistently work towards making it happen. I've had people say you don't understand. I've had women who are in the change period of their life say you don't understand what I'm going through. I've never personally been through it. Did I say that eloquently? Yeah. I'd say you don't understand. I'm not talking about the fact that I'm saying it should be easy for you. I'm saying if we put in the work to make the consistent changes towards sleep, all it can do is help. So if people just have sleep issues, have you gotten a sleep study? Have you just done little things to try to improve it? Is your schedule insane? Have you done little things to make half the days of the week less crazy? And if you can't do it on a regular basis, can we find ways to do it when you're surging? Right? So if sleep is something you struggle with, please don't write it off. Talk to a coach about it. Drink 8 to 12 cups. I wish that said of coffee today. Drink 8 to 12 cups of water per day. Raise your hand if you don't do that. Cool.
I find it's harder at this time of year.
Yeah, it definitely is. If we're well hydrated, the cells are going to function better. So let's try to work towards drinking more water. What's the app you use?
Waterlogged.
Can you put that again in another one of our groups?
Yeah.
Can you put it in the Super U, please?
Yeah.
Cool. So if you need help tracking it, Micah, shocker, has technology that helps. Changing your life through fitness and nutrition is challenging. We try our best to never call any of the tactics we recommend easy. We do, on the other hand, want to give you simple recommendations to start to make positive changes. Two of those things are drinking enough water and making sure to get enough sleep, which is why we covered that in our first nutrition meeting.
We're really lucky to be working with people here at Results Driven who are ready to change their life with the help of exercise and nutrition. At our nutrition meetings, nutrition is a sensitive subject. So Ed led off with a few tactics, two of which were hydration and sleep, to help people ease into the changes that they're about to make in their lives.
We talk a lot about the work you have to do, what type of exercise you should be doing, for how long, at what intensity. The work you put in the gym is just one piece of the puzzle. In order for all this to work, recovery has to be something that you focus on. Sleep is actually the most important part of recovery. So if you want to make sure that you're burning fat, if you want to make sure that your body is in the right state to build muscle and get stronger, you actually have to have the right hormone profile. And the only way that's going to happen is if you have adequate sleep.
Now, getting more sleep sounds simple in theory, but we know it's not easy. If getting more sleep is a struggle for you, a better place to start might be with getting more hydrated. So an app like Waterlogged that is on your phone that gives you reminders to drink more frequently might be a great place to start for you. Your cells don't function properly if you don't have the right amount of water in your body. So making sure that you're hydrated is another way to stack the recovery chips in your favor.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Results Driven Fitness.
Ciao. Next time, we're going to go over vegetables and which ones you should prioritize. Plus, we're going to take you undercover into one of our favorite moves to build a strong push-up, the mountain climber.
Please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us on the social media stuff.
We really appreciate your attention, so thank you for joining us once again. Go out there and be a better human being.
So for those of you that are new to the show, this is where it starts. Dude. No, a time of the year that you fucking can't talk.
Nutrition habits. A lot of people...
Blood acidity so that it